When you're ordering supplies or other items that are not your standard parts stock items, you're going to use the general purchase order. If we go to the purchase order list of not fulfilled purchase orders, we will be able to see a checkbox column under the word general. This distinguishes whether the PO is a general PO or a parts stock order. To start a new general PO, just click General Purchase Order. Search for the company you're going to place the order with. Enter an entity reference number. The difference between a dealer reference number and an entity reference number, when this supply company sends us the invoice, it's going to have an invoice number. Since ABC Supply Company is our entity, they're going to have a number that they're going to track with. This is normally the invoice number. We don't know that at this time, so we'll go ahead and leave this blank. Then we have our accounts payable GL account. In this case, it's defaulted to 2300. And then we have the company number and the profit center that it's coming from. Our status right now is not ordered. And so we're going to go ahead and start typing. So we can type in any description that we want to type here. We can change the quantity. And we type in our own cost. Now the cost is the cost per each. So in this case, with a quantity of 2, my extended cost is $20. If this item is taxable, for cases where we're going to use the product that we are buying for our own purposes, we'd want to check that yes, that it is taxable. The next line is the GL account number. This is where we expense off this supply. So we'd hit find, and go for an account type EX, and we go for office supplies and expenses. Profit center is already set. If we want to disperse this to a specific department, the finance department, we can do that. And if we're paying for it with a credit card or on account, we can specify that. And if this is for a specific stock unit, such as an internal, we could search for the stock number. And when we select that stock number, it automatically changes the GL account number that's associated with that unit. Next, I can type in any comments about this. And then I can go to the next line. And I can select the GL account number or just type it in if I know it. Now this internal is not going to be taxable, but this paper supplies would be. Department Finance. Now we're complete with setting up our general PO. We may have discount percentages like on a stock purchase PO that if we pay this invoice off at a certain time, and these can be set up on the supplier so they're automatically inputted. But your accounting department will normally handle this when the goods are received. So I can order later or I can order now. Order later just says, I'm not ready, I'm going to keep adding more things to this PO at a later date. And then order now will allow me just to go ahead and place this thing on order. So I say yes to place it on order. And then if I want, I can click the add button and I can enter another one, or I can just exit out of the system and say no, that I do not want to save that blank PO. As you can see at the top here, we have ABC Supply. It's got a total of $40 on it, and it's checked off as a general PO. When the products are received, the receiving or counting clerk can come in and just say receive now, or they can reopen the ticket and make any adjustments if there are any freight charges or these totals are not correct. We're going to go ahead and click receive now. and that item has now been received. We'll go ahead and close out for this example, and we will go to the fulfilled items, and you can see that our ABC supply is right here under completely received. And now it comes to the accounting department. Now the difference between a general PO and a parts stock order is rarely do the amounts change on a general PO. Whereas on a stock order, additional items may have had freight charges or expedited charges, or the cost of a part may have changed, and the bookkeeper needs to adjust that and then go ahead and post to accounting. But on a general PO, once you say that it's fully received, it will automatically post that to accounting. If you do come across the fact that it got posted to accounting and there was an adjustment that needed to be done on it, such as in this case, we posted it with a reference number of our PO number. And there's an actual invoice number that we need to pay by. So if we pay by invoice number, not by PO, all we have to do is click reopen the ticket, change the PO to the invoice number. That was supplied to us by the entity, and then just click order and receive and say yes. The general PO can also be used just to set up regular payables. For example, if you have an invoice that comes in, you can find the entity that you need to pay. So it's Thetford, and we have an invoice here from Thetford for invoice number 6750, supplies, and we'll just put the amount in of $100. And then at the bottom, we can click order and receive. So the general PO works in two fashions. It can start off as a PO that you have submitted a purchase order for something, and then when the product arrives, you can switch it into an invoice, or you can jump it directly to an invoice by going order and receive at the same time. And this creates it as an invoice in your accounting system. And there's our Thetford Corporation. You can search through POs by using the purchase order search. You can type in a purchase order number. You can type in a supplier, and that will return all invoices from that supplier. You've got the date ordered, the company. So this would be your companies that you have ordered it for. Or you can search for all POs that had a specific part number on them. Go ahead and hit OK here. And there's a listing of every PO from the entity or supplier, Stagg Parkway. Again, to open one of these up, we just have to type in the row number. So if we wanted number 4, just type in a 4 and enter. And there is Stagg purchase order.